Hi friends, hi, hello, shalom, welcome to Scout Israel. Some of you who are used to my videos might notice there was no entertaining music at the beginning. That's because it's Remembrance Day. It's Yom Hazikaron. We remember the fallen in the wars of Israel, and we remember those killed in the terrorist actions. It's the most difficult day I have in the list of Jewish and Israeli festival days, and it comes just before Yom Ha'atzmaut. What you just saw was the siren that heralds the minute silence. You'll notice people even stop their cars and get out. I'm not commenting, by the way, on those people who don't stop their cars. We're actually on one of the main roads heading towards some Arab villages. And I don't know really whether they should or shouldn't pay respect to fallen soldiers who their grandparents might have been fighting, so or not, as the case may be. I'm not saying anything about their loyalty either. I understand why it might not be the day where they want to pay the most respect, but that's not the discussion here. What I'm going to talk about is remembering things. Who am I remembering? What are we remembering? And what are we remembering it for? Today, I remember that I've passed a milestone in being an Israeli. There's this kind of ridiculous discussion people have, when are you really an Israeli? You just hear like a year and people are like, oh, you've never even paid taxes. Or, the most common one is, oh, you don't even get to speak about Israeli stuff. You've never even done the army. I've done the army, by the way, now. You don't get to speak about Israeli stuff. You don't have kids here. And so on and so forth. And then Israelis get to say this ridiculous thing to people living outside of Israel. Oh, you don't get to have an opinion. You don't live in Israel. Look, moral arguments, criticisms of a country, those are connected with the truth and connected with having a logical argument and being morally right, not with your experience. Your experience might add a little bit of extra something to back it up, but you don't get to say, spout any kind of gibberish you want and then say, and I'm an Israeli, so I get to say that, or, and I've been in the army, so I get to say that. But one thing which does affect how you view the world, not necessarily as a point in an argument, I think nobody really wants it as a point in an argument, is going to a military funeral. It was in, if I'm not mistaken, 2006, the Second Lebanon War. I had been hanging out with this group of friends. I was learning in a Talmudic seminary, learning the Babylonian Talmud and all these things connected with Judaism, and I used to go out for a bit of fun to see some friends who lived in a kind of trendy area called Nachlaot, and amongst my group of friends, I wasn't even the best friend with me. I didn't know him incredibly well. I was better friends actually with his girlfriend. Was a gentleman called Mikey, and he really was. I didn't know him that well, but he was a real character, real good person, and a big focal point of the group. A really just nice guy. I thought, oh, I'd love to hang out with him a bit more, and. Then the Second Lebanon War started. He actually came back from leave from the army in America, flew all the way back, didn't have to, just didn't want to leave his friends on their own fighting and him enjoying himself in America, and he flew all the way back, got back to his unit, and died in an ambush. And I remember going to his funeral. It was the single worst day of my time in Israel. I've been here now, more than 10 years, and that was the worst day. That was the I I sincerely hope that nobody watching this video ever has to listen to the sound of a mother crying for her child who died before, before she did, before he got to grow up and have a family. It reminds me of something from my childhood, and something maybe I can end with here. But before I say the thing from my childhood, I should also mention, not today just remembering Michael Levine, I'm also remembering who died in the Second Lebanon War. I'm also remembering today somebody who doesn't have anybody to remember him apart from people assigned to him from the army and various worthy people who volunteer. Today I'm remembering somebody who hasn't had no family left to remember him because he came to Israel just before the War of Independence from Europe. He actually fled Europe just after the Holocaust. He was part of what was called the Bricha. He was called Moshe Yaakov Shilak. He was a fighter in the Harel Brigade, and he died in the War of Independence, leaving no family to mourn him because they had all previously died in the Holocaust. So I would like to remember him as well. And I'd like to finish on some words that my father used to say, probably still does, to his Cheder class, to his religious school class. We used to have a religious school every Sunday back in Manchester in England where I grew up. And he used to say to us every Remembrance Day we'd also stand for the minute's silence on Remembrance Sunday, and he'd say that he hopes that everybody listening does not have to fight in a war ever again. That's all that myself and I guarantee you every Israeli prays for, probably how many other kinds of people pray for. I pray that none of you listening ever have to fight in a war. Shalom, peace, and have a happy, tomorrow have a happy Israel Independence Day.